I'm here to tell you today about a really cool town that I found called Koblenz. And so a lot of you may be wondering, well, yeah, now we're living in the coronavirus and we have nothing to do with our time. So, well, A, you can watch my videos here on YouTube and get some adventure just from, your computer. And then you have places to visit later. Or 2, you can write these places down to visit them later. Or even 3, you could then go and find places in your own backyard or maybe in your own towns that are open. That you can visit too. I really encourage you to get adventurous and go out there and see new places because I think it's boring to just stick in like your own corner of the world, but that's me. So I'm here to tell you today about Canyon Bikes in Koblenz. And Canyon Bikes, so they started in 1985 and they were founded by Roman and Frank Arnold. And these two were special because they saw how bikes were being made and they they weren't really that involved when they first started getting into it. But then around 1996 they started producing bikes under the name of Canyon. So since then, in 2001 their name was fully changed to Canyon. In Switzerland they're called Coast Bikes because Switzerland already has Canyon bikes, but that's besides the point. So Canyon Bikes in Germany, their headquarters is in Koblenz, Germany. And so we decided to drive down there and see what they're all about. And Canyon Bikes are really big because since 2001 they've put out a lot of bikes that have been lighter than typical for road racing bikes, which I think is really cool. And for example, they've also put out some really nice mountain bikes for people who like to mountain bike. So they've been really high-end innovators and designers of bikes. And so one of the things that I've seen triathlons, and you always see Canyon bikes as some of the top high performing ones, and so I wondered what it would be like to have one. So I decided to just take a trip down there. It's quite different than typical manufacturers because typical manufacturers give their bikes to a second-hand person. But Canyon thinks that by selling bikes online and having a few stores that they will then eliminate the cost of having the middleman, which is an interesting business practice. So we drove down there and we went to test ride some bikes, and I rode an Ultimate by Canyon and also the Endurace. And the Ultimate is more of the racy style, kind of your all-around road bike, and the Endurace is built for long distance and endurance type things. So I thought, you're in a more sit-up position though, so you don't have as much aerodynamic capabilities as you would with a strictly racing bike. So I test rode a few, and after test riding them both, I found out that I like the Endurace the best. I'm a really big believer in color, I like having things bright and colorful. So this was the only one they had left in stock, so I bought this one and took it home. I can show it to you. Alright, so here's the Canyon bike that I bought, the Endurace CF, so it's carbon fiber SL, and it's got disc brakes. I really like about the Canyon bike, this Canyon Endurace, that first of all it's light. It's only 7.5 kilograms, which I think is it's the lightest bike that I've ever had, and that's what I've wanted to have in a bike. I really like having disc brakes because it means that you're able to have more stopping accuracy, maybe I'll say. If you have bikes that have the rim brakes, I don't feel as they're as powerful as disc brakes. When you stop, it takes you more effort to stop, whereas these ones, they stop on a dime. This bike has mechanical shifting, so if I click, you'll just hear a little, and so that means that it's different than mechanical, where when you mechanically shift, you need to fully press the button in, but here you just tap, which is nice if your fingers are cold or fatigued. I don't really think that'll happen to me, but you never know. It's also the Shimano Ultegra shifting system, which is one of the nicer and high quality. It's kind of rare, like a lot of people have Shim 105 for their gears and shifting system, which is becoming more common. So the Ultegra is definitely kind of more on your higher end, but it's starting to become more common now. I also like carbon fiber, means that this bike is really light. I will also tell you that this bike, it's an extra small, which means it fits me. It comes to about my hip height. Yeah, so, but my favorite thing about this bike is that it's blue. Which is probably sad, but that's how I love color. Alright, so I've put my trusty seed behind me now because I don't need it to tell you about Koblenz, which is the real point that I wanted to make. So Koblenz is a really beautiful town, and so I'm from Wisconsin, and it reminds me a lot of Madison, like a mix between Madison, Wisconsin, and which has kind of got like an urban, upbeat kind of feel with like the college kids influences and some big city stuff, but also kind of like down-to-earth areas too. It had a mix of some like German, like your German style architecture where you've got like the timbered buildings. But it also was really interesting because you had to drive down to Koblenz from a mountain. And so it's got like a bunch of different levels. Like Koblenz has, you can kind of drive out into the inner city, but to do that you kind of have to go like down, like under the highway, and they've got like bridges overlapping each other, which I mean a lot of big cities have, but I just thought that this city had it had this interesting feel to it that I really liked. And I would also like you to remember that if you're looking for a new bike or you're finally thinking you want to trade up and get a really great bike, I really want you to check out Canyon Bikes. They do have a few shops in the US. There's one in Colorado, and there's also one in California, so they're mostly west, so you can still test out Canyon Bikes in the US. There are also some other Canyon Bike stores around the world. I know there's one in the Netherlands, and I think there's also one in Poland. I also want to say that one of the other specialties of visiting the Canyon store in Koblenz, so the actual manufacturing of Canyon Bikes, is that you can tour the factory, which was cool. We didn't get to do it when we were there. Unfortunately, we were buying the products with masks, but that's okay. But the other thing we got to see is I'm just getting really into triathlons now, and so we got to see the actual triathlon bike from the 2019 Kona champion, so the world Ironman champion, who also broke the record in 2019 for his time, and he finished the Ironman in like 7 hours, 51 minutes and some seconds, and he was biking with a Canyon bike. And so they have some like historic bikes when you walk in, so like they have one of the bikes of Roman Arnold, the first like one of the founders of Canyon, and they also have this bike that Jan Frodeno rode. And I thought it was really special to see how, first of all, triathlon bikes are different from road bikes, and to also see like, it was such a piece of like history to me because triathlons are so important to me, and it was really, really special. And you could see like he had like his little drink straw on it where he could drink, and they also it still had his sweat on it. It was very cool. A really cool experience. So I recommend, if you ever are in Koblenz, Germany, to check out Canyon Bike stores and even just take a test ride. You don't have to buy anything. And if you want to find out more about me and see more videos like this, not necessarily where I talk about bikes, but where I tell you about the hidden gems of Germany, feel free to click the subscribe button below or leave me some nice comments. I also will tell you that I have a link to my blog in the description below, and that's where I've spent a lot of time so far writing blogs on some places that I've been here in Germany and my life, what it's like living as a US American here in Germany. So there's a link to my website and blog below, and I also have my Instagram down there if you want to see any other pictures. There's also pictures on my website, so feel free, click the links, explore. Thank you, and see you next time.